Hey everyone, Jobkeeper 2.0. So on 21st of July 2020, the government revealed that Jobkeeper would be extended, thankfully, to March 2021. The extended Jobkeeper is way more targeted and introduces much stricter eligibility criteria. Now, the goalposts continue to move. So initial legislation was passed on the 3rd of September, then we had some more information come through. So in the meantime, Teresa, what's happening with Jobkeeper 1.0?
Sure. So Jobkeeper 1.0, it's here to stay as we know it. But that was announced quite early that Jobkeeper 1.0 wasn't going to move, which was good. That provided a lot of relief and I think certainty for small business.
Yeah, so having said that, when does Jobkeeper 2.0 start?
Yep, sure. So Jobkeeper 2.0 starts on the 28th of September 2020. It will run for another 13 fortnights to 28th of March 2021.
I think, as we mentioned before, it's got a whole new set of eligibility rules. But what are the new payment rates?
Jobkeeper 2.0 is a little bit different, and there's now some tiered payment rates. So there we have two extensions of Jobkeeper. The first extension goes from the 28th of September right through to the 3rd of January 2021, and there will be two tiers depending on the amount of hours each eligible employee or business participant has worked. That rate then drops again for the second extension, which runs from the 4th of January 2021 to the 28th of March 2021. If you pop over to our website, we've got some really easy reference tables so you can see what the rates are.
And so I guess as part of all of this, we need to retest eligibility. So what does that consist of?
What we've got now with Jobkeeper 2.0, we've got extension 1 and extension 2. And what needs to happen is at each extension, you've got to retest eligibility. So you need to retest eligibility on the 28th of September 2020, and then again for Jobkeeper Extension 2, which is on the 4th of January 2021. That means that everyone will really need to keep their accounting records right up to date so that you can test eligibility quickly, have the numbers in front of you so that you're ready to go.
Right, so then how do we test using actual numbers? Is it based on our BAS now? Because initially it wasn't.
Previously with Jobkeeper 1.0, you could also test on projected numbers.
Yeah.
That is all gone. It's based on actual numbers and it's based on your BAS. So if we're looking at Jobkeeper Extension 1, we compare the actual September 2019 BAS with the September 2020 BAS. If there's a 30% or more decline in turnover, you're eligible for Extension 1. Then when we move to Extension 2 in January next year, you need to compare your December 2020 BAS with last year's December 2019 BAS. A lot more simple. And when the original rules came out, there was a bit of confusion around that as well.
There was a lot of confusion. This seems to me to be so much more, it might be harsher, but it's a lot simpler to follow and a lot more transparent. We all know that clients have varying needs. So what if I do have special circumstances? What do I do?
So as with Jobkeeper 1.0, the ATO has administrative powers to release some alternative tests. So in a nutshell, if you have special circumstances, there are alternative tests that can be applied. So for example, if your September 19 and September 2020 BASs don't give you the result you want because maybe there was a restructure in your business or your business has only just started, there are some alternative tests you can have a look at. They're quite similar to the alternative tests that were released for Jobkeeper 1.0 and definitely well worth looking at.
So everyone's, I suppose, throughout this whole COVID environment, employees have changed so much. So what if our clients have employed new staff since Jobkeeper 1.0? Can they be included for Jobkeeper 2.0?
Yeah, potentially they can. So, like I mentioned before, one of the changes that have been made is that the eligible employment date has been pushed out to from 1 March to 1 July. So, what you need to do is have a look at your employees that are on the books on 1 July, and then you need to have a look at certain hours that they worked. So this hours reference period is what you need to have a look at to determine whether an employee is eligible for the higher JobKeeper rate or the lower JobKeeper rate. And basically what the reference period is, you're looking at the hours that an employee has worked within the 4 weeks of pay periods, either before 1 March 2020, so you're looking at February 2020, or before 1 July 2020, so you're looking at June. So February and June are the key months you need to have a look at.
Now, with all the alternative rules, there's 2 types.
Yeah, there is, Lisa. So what we're looking at now when we're testing eligibility, so with JobKeeper 1.0, we were looking at turnover and whether an employee is eligible or not. This time, because we've got 2 payment rates, we're looking not only at turnover of a business and whether an employee is eligible or not, but we're also looking at the hours that an employee has worked. So the 2 different types of alternative tests relate to the turnover of the business and also hours an employee has worked to determine what rate they get paid. Especially, you know, if the ATO come in and do a JobKeeper review, you have to make sure you've got all your records in place so that you can support your enrolment and your JobKeeper claims.
Yeah. And we know, and we've been told that they're going to become quite active in this space in October, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And not, if someone's found to be doing the wrong thing, not only will they need to pay back their JobKeeper payments, but there will be some significant penalties involved as well.
Do I still need to pay my employees first?
Yeah. What you need to remember is that JobKeeper is a reimbursement scheme. So you have to have paid your employees first before you are eligible to receive the JobKeeper payments. And you need to make the declaration each month to the ATO that you have done that in order to be able to receive your JobKeeper payments.
So there's still ongoing regulatory submissions that you have to make every month, I guess.
Yeah, there is. That's right. Yeah. So the monthly declarations will continue if you are still eligible for JobKeeper 2.0.
So what do you recommend people do now then?
Yeah, so what I think people need to do now is there's going to be a very narrow time frame from when you finish your accounts and numbers to the end of September. We then need to test eligibility and get you enrolled. So the best thing you can do right now is get your numbers right up to date so that as soon as the September quarter ticks over, we can check numbers straight away to determine eligibility. You can already have a look at your numbers now to see where you are in this quarter compared to last year so that you have an idea of whether you think you'll be eligible for the extended JobKeeper 2.0. That will allow you then to position your cash flow and your business for whether you'll continue to receive the payments or not.
Coming off the back of all of this, the most practical measure that our clients should be looking at is their cash flow, because even if they are eligible for JobKeeper, there is a drop. So identifying those gaps is really important, because especially if they want their businesses to survive. So that's that 13-week rolling cash flow that we talk about all the time.